All right, since we're going into fall, one of the things I want to talk about is how to do health checks on all your turtles and tortoises. Before everything goes under, I like to try and give everything that I can get my hands on a health check just to make sure they're going into winter in the best condition possible. So looking at the pond right now, you can see after a cool night, all these guys are actually basking. So I'm gonna let them bask for a little while longer before I check on them. So I'm gonna check on some of my other stuff first and kind of let these guys enjoy the sun and get warmed up. But one of the first turtles we're gonna come across is my Sulcata tortoise. And for checking on this guy, it's going to be pretty simple. One of the first things you're always going to look for is, are the eyes clear? Are they active? Are, a sluggish turtle with its eyes closed or with watery, milky eyes is definitely a bad sign. But right now this guy's basking. He's enjoying the sun. Right now I'm just going to kind of look at different parts of his body and see, how everything looks. So he's eating on some grass, which is good. He's right out of the gate got an appetite. He's spent the last few nights, I have like a insulated garage, and he has like a big stock tank in there full of Timothy hay. So on the coolest nights, I'll put him in there. If it's not too bad, I'll let him stay in like sort of a little barn that I have in the backyard. But he's came right out of the gate, got some grass, and looks like he's doing good. So bright, clear eyes, all his legs seem to be working fine. So I think he's gonna check out okay. All right, so now we're gonna walk further towards the back. I have a Gulf Coast box turtle pen back here, and it's a little chilly back here, just because this area sits in the shade a lot. So what we're gonna do is look and make sure these guys are doing fine. So we've got one over in this area, and he's coming out of hiding under those, whatever those plants are, and he's gonna probably make his way over here to the sun and sit out here and maybe bask for a little while. But so far he looks pretty good. I'll come around and check the other side, and you can see we got two more that came out, and they're sitting right here in the sun, pretty much doing exactly what they would normally do. Just come out. Looks like one of them was actually eating a little bug. I see it hanging off of her beak right there. All right, so doing health checkups on box turtles can be a little tricky because they have the ability to close up. It's hard sometimes to check, around their legs, around their head, if they choose to close up on you. So I try to pick them up as gently as I can and not really disturb them, and hope that they'll kind of, stay out of their shell. Not all of them will, but so far these two look good, but I am going to pick them up and take a closer look. Just like I was talking about, this one decided to close up a little bit. She is pretty cold. It did get pretty cold last night, and she hasn't come out in the sun. So you can see her eyes are a little bit closed, but I think it has more to do with the cold. I am going to move her over into the sun, and we're going to see if this is going to help her, and I'm going to come back and check on her. So that's the big thing, is if you do see something weird, make note of it. If it doesn't seem like a big deal, you can kind of let things sit. And I'm just going to place her in the sun right here and see if that helps her. Come back and check on her in a few minutes and see if anything's changed. These bushes will get you. So this one looks good. This one doesn't have the puffy eyes like the other one does. This one's very alert. So that's a healthy box turtle right there. You look around the shell, you're looking for anything that looks unusual. Plastron looks good. So this is a healthy Gulf Coast box turtle. So I'm just gonna put this one back, let it go back to what it was doing. All right, so now we're gonna go down to the Asian tortoises down here in the bamboo. Let's go the fun way. We'll go through the bamboo. So I set their setup in this bamboo because I know that they like that. All right, so I'll come through here. This bamboo. Ow, that was a bad idea. All right, so here's the elongated tortoise. He looks like he's doing good. So with the elongated and mountain tortoises, one thing that's neat about them compared to, redfoot and yellowfoot, sulcata, a lot of the other tortoises, is these guys can handle cool temperatures into the 40s no problem. So I can leave them out. If it gets below 45, I tend to bring them in just to be on the safe side, because the only issue is if they get cool and wet, they can get a respiratory infection, and as you can guess, that's no good. So I try to play it safe, but they do have a lot more latitude as far as how far I can push, their cooler weather outdoor housing. But it looks like they're both kind of cruising around looking for stuff to eat. healthy elongated tortoise. This one's a little wonky. I think he hatched out under some weird conditions because he does have a weird plastron that has like a weird curve to it. So that could be incubation temperatures, could be a lot of things, but this is a pretty healthy elongated tortoise and has always done well for me. So put it back, let him go about his business. This is a mountain tortoise, and what's neat is the mountain tortoise is actually foraging right now. It's digging up grubs, pill bugs, worms, kind of acting more like a box turtle or a wood turtle, but so it looks like it's doing good. Eyes are clear, nothing coming out of the nose, and it's actually foraging, which is always a good sign. So, mountain tortoise, looking good. One of my favorite tortoises. All right, so the battery on my GoPro died, so I had to switch over to the phone. So now we're gonna look at the snapping turtles. I look at behavior first, and these guys are actually exhibiting pretty good behavior. They're hiding, but I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna be fine, but just to give you an idea of the things I look for, I'll reach in here. The water's nice and cold, and I'll pull one of these guys out, which they're gonna be thrilled about. I'll give you an idea of what I look for with snapping turtles. So this guy had an issue with fungus when he was young, when I got him from a guy that was selling him. Him and the rest of his clutch kind of came all with this fungus, and I think I got 5 of them, and he's the only one that was left. So fungus is a real problem for hatchling snappers. By the time they get older, they can really kind of handle their own. But the snapping turtles, I looked at the plastron. That's going to give you an idea of their health. This guy, clean, no red marks, nothing pink. The cloaca, no redness around the cloaca. Sometimes you'll see these little spots here, and they'll get like wear and tear from going underneath things. But other than that, this guy looks good. He looks feisty. Shell growth is good. So I'm just gonna let him go back into his home. I don't know if he's gonna try and bite me or not, but let him go back down there, hang out with his girlfriend. This is like kind of a waterland style tub, and this is for my mud turtles. And mud turtles like to actually go up on land. So this one is up here kind of laying inactive, so we'll check on it. Looks all right, a little inactive. The little bit lightweight. This is a spot where sometimes they'll get injuries or they'll get a leech or something, and the shell will end up healing itself, but you'll end up with these holes. A lot of times people see these on snapping turtles and they think that they're musket ball holes or bullet holes or something, but that's just actually where the shell healed itself. But this turtle is a little lightweight, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to try and put some weight on her, and I think she would do fine going through the winter, but I want to give her maybe an extra month head start before I put her back outside to go through winter. So I'm just going to set her in this tub right here. And this is just a part of having a bunch of turtles, is you have to check on things, and you have to check and see, you know, who's healthy and maybe who's having a harder year than the year before. Down at the bottom, here we go. This is a healthy male. You can see he's got a bit more weight on him. You know he's a male because of that big tail. And yeah, he was just down at the bottom. Water's like still pretty cold, so overall he looks good. And that's what a healthy, ow, he closed his shell on my thumb. Ow. It actually hurts too. Okay, let's see if I can let go. Let go. Hey, there we go, I got it. So over here is loggerheads, and they should be on the bottom, same as the mud turtles. Let's see if I can pull one out for an example of what I look for with loggerheads. Let's see. Hopefully I don't get bit, because sometimes they're ready and waiting. We've got one right here. All right. So this is a very fat loggerhead musk turtle. You can see, just like we were talking about with the mud turtle, sometimes they'll get little spots like that right there is the shell healing, and it'll eventually turn into those. These are things that naturally happen, especially with older turtles, but it's a pretty healthy loggerhead musk turtle. And I've actually had these guys for a really long time, and most of the spots on their shell, you know, because these originally were wild caughts that a guy was exporting, they were all sick when he gave them to me because he couldn't sell them. So they have a lot of history behind them, but they're really awesome turtles. They're really healthy, done great for me, produced a lot of babies. But This turtle's a little on the fat side, but that's not going to hurt because, you know, this turtle isn't going to eat all winter long. So, kind of let it go back in the water. Let's move on to the next. All right, so this stock tank is the Mexican giant musk, and he's pretty hard to find in here, but sometimes you get lucky. There he is, right there. So we're gonna pull him out. He's a little on the cold side, and overall looking pretty good. Yeah, this turtle's heavy, and he's actually gonna come in once it starts getting really cold, just because as much cold as he can handle, I really don't think he's made for, you know, the winter here. You know, he comes from a part of Mexico that's pretty far south and doesn't really see cold, freezing temperatures, but overall, apart from being a little on the fat side, this turtle's doing good. So I'm just gonna disturb him as little as possible, let him go back down to the bottom. And let's go over. So here's the pond. Everybody's freaking out because I'm walking up. But let's see what we can find and get a check. Right off the bat is this little male Florida cooter. So let's take a look. His eyes look good. Overall, his shell looks pretty good. He's basking. Seems pretty alert, reacting to me. Let's see. Yeah, he's trying to get away. That's always a good sign. You can tell he's a male because of his claws. Florida cooters are really awesome because they're very similar to the peninsula cooters, but they actually have a much better cold tolerance. So let's look at his plastron. He does have some past areas of his shell. Looks like where he was at before I got him. Probably hit a lot of rocks and probably got a lot of damage right there, but overall looks good. He's got one area right there. Looks like it's healing, but this turtle came to me as a rescue. Somebody brought him to me at a not a reptile show, but at another function a couple years ago. And he was way rougher back then, but he's looking good now. So I'm gonna let him kind of go do his thing. There you go, buddy. He's gonna go back into the pond. The thing that's nice when your turtles are used to you is you can kind of get close to them while they're doing normal stuff. You know, this river cooter looks like he's doing well, just hanging out, basking. You can check his eyes. His eyes look good. All his feet look good. His shell looks good. If I really needed to, I could check the plastron, but I actually just looked at this turtle recently. In fact, I had to count all my turtles last week as an application for a state special permit. So all the river cooters are actually doing really good. I checked everybody out, but for the purposes of this video, I just want to keep checking and see who's doing well and see if anybody else looks like maybe they need a little assistance. Walk around this edge, and this guy looks like he's doing well. And we got a big girl right here. She seems to be doing fine too. I don't really want to disturb him too much. Looks like we have some activity over here with Gulf Coast box turtles. A little bit of breeding going on. So let's say everything in this habitat looks like it's doing really well. So I'm not going to disturb everything too much. All right, so now I want to go back and check on that three-toed box. Not three-toed. So now I want to go back and check on this box turtle back here. She looked a little bit weird with her eyes being puffy. That's pretty normal with box turtles, but I don't like to see it in mine. Okay, here she is. She's back here. So let's get down here with the phone and see. Actually, her eyes look fine now that I look at them. Okay, yeah, her eyes are fine. And she actually moved back here pretty quickly, so right now, I'm just going to say she's okay, but I am going to check on her daily now. This time of year, it never hurts to just check on everything daily. I spend the first hour of my day feeding and walking around and doing that stuff anyway, so it doesn't bother me to check on a specific turtle every day. But so far she looks all right. She definitely moved over here quick, went back to the spot where she was at, so I think she'll be fine. All right, so that's how I check on my turtles. Make sure everybody's looking good going into the colder months. Hope this video helps you guys. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me in the comments. Leave your comments. Tell me about what you do for your turtles this time of year, whether you keep them indoors or outdoors. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!